Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 553 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined, as always, by Bobcat in crime, Mr. Bobcat, Ohio Bobcat, Kyle Bradkey, and Funky Ben Askren, the funky one. How are you today?
I was just realizing I missed while we were doing the intro there is obviously the area code thing, and I realize it gets harder the higher you go. But then, Kyle Bradkey, he owes us an alien hour tomorrow.
I do. I plan on having one.
Oh, you already have one. All right.
I don't have one, but I will have one.
All right, you know what? Let's make a declaration, Ben. You and I, let's make a declaration. Every Thursday is alien hour. So it's just up to him to produce the aliens. Aliens in a cryptid, a conspiracy theory, a demon house. My brother Weston is watching. He's got freaked out by the demon house.
That's creepy stuff.
I don't remember the demon house. I think I've listened to every episode.
What was that? That might have been before you were doing the show.
It was.
No, but even when I listened, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a bad one. We looked it up the other day, which show it was. Yeah, we'll send it to you. You're right. It's a bad one. Everyone went crazy. There were police. We had police documents on that one.
I have police documents.
Yeah, it was that serious, dude. So anyway, okay. Hey, happy Metcalf Day. You're gonna be able to watch it today if you want to. Hopefully you do. Many of you do, and we're really excited about that. And
well, I have a conspiracy theory, Christian.
Oh, here we go.
Well, listen. You came up with this idea that you have a meeting today and you have to leave, a little bit early. And Christian, I've never we've never had that happen. I've been on the show 9 months now. This has never happened. It does. And it just so happens the day we're doing the Metcalf doc. So could it be that, you're saying it's coming out at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time and there is no Metcalf doc. And as soon as you get done with the show, you got the first flight out to Mexico.
The only way we'll know, and that's the thing, there's no way to know. We'll just have to tune in tomorrow and see. I am alleging that I have a meeting that I have to be in at 9 o'clock, so this is going to be a quicker show. But yes, we won't know until tomorrow if I go to Mexico. Is that a golden mug? Ben is so
you know what?
fancy.
One of my sponsors, eToro, sent me this, and I really like it. It's really fancy.
It's very.
But you know what I like most? It's very wide, like this, so you can put a lot of coffee in it. I can't stand the narrow mugs. You can put any coffee in there. It's so dumb.
So dumb. Fatten them up.
Yes. And, I was actually thinking, I knew, what you're going to say something about eToro when I had this mug. And I was thinking, why haven't you guys
set me up?
Why haven't you sent me a Flow mug?
Hey, when come
That's so rude.
I will say it's a lot easier to mail a shirt than a glass mug. We make whatever it's made out of. Wait, aren't you coming in October? Ceramic, I guess. It's all glass.
Then I have to transport it. I'm totally going to break it.
Okay, you see my problem. I'd rather put it in your hands. Just go through security with it in your hand. We'll send you home with multiple. We have a couple. We have the red ones and the black ones. We'll give you a mug.
I feel like we need to talk about who's number one next week. I don't think we've talked about that much.
I agree with you.
I know it's more difficult than in most years because, usually we got something to talk about these guys for Argo or UWWs or Junior Duels or, one of these things. And, now this year we have nothing to talk about. And for me, I don't think it's the same thing as for you, but we're kind of stuck here in Wisconsin on an island because we have travel restrictions for our state. So barely anyone goes anywhere. So I am not super into say Iron Man or Powerade or that type of stuff because there's no Wisconsin teams there, right? But we're always at all those summer and spring events.
You watched the Ncaa line event. How close to 100% do you think the wrestlers were, right? And my follow-up is going to be, if you had a kid at who's number one this year, and let's say they're wrestling next week, how close to 100% do you think they would be in terms of optimization?
I mean, I don't see. We just wrestled last weekend. I don't see why the kids can't be full go. I mean, actually, a lot of them have been putting in a lot of time, and so I think that we've actually had a period to make some improvements. So I've seen some kids get better in some positions, obviously, and that's a little bit different. You're having more growth in a high school kid than you may be in a high school or a college guy, and definitely more growth than you'd be having in a senior level athlete. So I would say that I would be pumped. We don't have any who's number one guys this year, but I think they're definitely ready to wrestle. They've had this block of time where they haven't had to compete at all, where they've been able to focus on their training and get better. And I think it's been not ideal, obviously, but beneficial in certain circumstances.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I need you to talk some sense into me here.
Uh-oh.
I'm really having a hard time having a good attitude about Caleb's baseball playing. He's playing it a bunch. It's taken away from. He can only go to wrestling once a week now. He had a doubleheader last week. It was really boring. He doesn't get to do much at all because that's how baseball works.
Is he only 9 or 8 or something?
He's 9. The clock's ticking, Ben.
No, it's not going to play baseball.
All right.
He's fine.
Okay, good.
He's 9.
All right. Yeah. Good to know. Thanks. That's all I needed to hear. Hey,
I can promise you Lee Roper is not going to start recruiting him at age 9.
Crap. All right. I guess he's not going to get on the Panther train. Okay. Next question. Although Lee Roper's the one that got my mind spinning. You know that, right? When you were out, he was basically
I just disagree with him a little bit, but sure.
Okay. He was basically like, the kids that are good now were really good when they were like 7.
But that's just not true. That's just not true. And I would not say, obviously there's certain kids who were good then and they're still good now, right? Mm-hmm. That's 100% true. And because of the way wrestling system works, I think you're probably having to happen more frequently than it could if people had kept an open mind. And, we had a kid like, a couple kids, Mason Deal and Jack Ganos, both had their first nationally ranked wins as seniors in high school. It's like, no, they weren't at that level when they were in 8th grade or 7th grade, and let alone 7 years old. I mean, if you want to take me, both those kids, they weren't even good on the state level in 6th and 7th grade, which is, what's that, 12, 13, 14 years old, let alone 7 years old. They weren't even good at the state level. They were bad.
Yeah.
And then they started getting better as they were 7th and 8th graders. And, but still at the national level, they struggled. And now they're finally starting to find some success as seniors in high school. And so it's like that sentiment just isn't true. And so one of the reasons I think we have so much success as coaches is because we continue with that. Like, hey, Parker Keckheisen, what was he ranked? Number 2 when he graduated high school? Guess what? Parker Keckheisen was 4th place at youth state in 8th grade. 4th place in Wisconsin in the state tournament, youth state tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we continue to have the thought process that if we work with these kids, they can get better. And then, in fact, they do get better. But there's so many coaches that say, if my kid ain't good at 7, he ain't going to be good. And they literally stop giving a lot of kids attention, and they focus all their intensity on a few good kids. And so, yeah, there is what do you call that? When you think something's going to be true, so then you make it happen.
Confirmation bias? Self-fulfilling prophecy?
That's what I'm thinking. Self-fulfilling prophecy. There is a self-fulfilling prophecy in that when, yes, you have that thought that only kids who are good in their 10 can be good. And so you only work with those 3 good kids in your club, and then, boom, they get good. And so you fulfill that prophecy to yourself, and then you further exacerbate it by continuing to think that's true. When, I could give you Jacob Roshka, didn't win a U state title. I mean, right, I could give you guy after guy in our club. Now, obviously, there were a couple that were good, like Keegan O'Toole was good when he was younger. Okay, but then I would go, hey, he was 2-2 at Super 32 as a sophomore. So then, when someone said, well, he sucks, I should bail on him. Like, nah, he needed some time to get a little better.
Yeah.
So
you should have bailed. You should have bailed, dude. Keegan, you're out.
Yeah, you're out. You only went 2-2.
Okay. So Reese Humphrey put out an interesting tweet. I want to talk about it a little bit. He said,
I like it.
I've heard a lot of people say they don't want to wrestle in the U.S. Open because there isn't prize money. It's not a qualifier. Whatever happened to getting matches and competing for a national title? Put your pride on the line. I just wanted your kind of initial reactions to that because I heard that yesterday as well, unrelated to Reese or anyone, I think affiliated with Reese, but I think that's sort of a pervasive thought about the senior nationals, and that corresponds, maybe not corresponds, but we're kind of sitting refreshing registration every day and seeing. Okay, no one's really registered of note. The guy that, the old guy that wrestled Colin Moore, what's his name?
Eric Hinckley.
He entered, but other than him.
Bo Styles.
Other than him, we don't have a lot of recognized names. So.
Well, I think this goes back to, and this is, one of the things I really felt when I was trying to start both pro leagues is, what is the significance of this? Mm-hmm. Okay, and the truth of the matter was there wasn't any. Okay, there was no significance to it, and any organization or thing, it takes time to develop significance. And so, what's the significance of a real U.S. Open is that everyone's going to be there and you win, and everyone in the country will recognize you as number one. But with this one, we all know that the guys who are already qualified for the Olympic trials, which is almost everybody, right? They're probably not going to show up. So no one's really going to recognize this in the wrestling community as a real national title. So you could call it a national title, but if your peers don't recognize it as such and don't treat it as such, then it takes away the meaning. And then so the second way to give meaning to something is money, right? Is to give money. And then he said there's no prize money. So it's like with those early wrestling events I was doing, and I'm going to contrast them with what you guys are doing now. You know, my cap on a payment of someone was $1,500 or $3,000. And to a lot of guys, that wasn't significant. It just wasn't a lot of money. Whereas, you know, so what you guys are able to pay a few people these days, that has a lot of significance, and so you can bring people in. But then, you know, if you want to do a long-term pro league, it can't only be about the money. There has to be some significance to being the champion, right? So like being the UFC champion would take the money away, take all the payments away. There is value in being the UFC champion. And so I think that's kind of the way to look at it.
Yeah, I think it's well, I guess the difference between the US Open and previous...
Bracky!
What?
Your man Eric Kinkley is Facebook messaging you. The one you just bullied. You just bullied him.
How did
He's
I
gonna
bully
whoop
him?
your butt.
I said he was
the old guy that wrestled.
No,
he's the old guy that wrestled Colin Moore.
Listen, I'm sorry. Should I describe him as young?
I'm pumped to watch Eric Kinkley. I follow his Facebook. He has a Facebook page. I've been watching him work out. He's ready to go. He's on fighting weight already.
Okay, all right.
He's ready to go.
Yeah,
all right.
We haven't disparaged. I believe we accurately described his age relative to the competition.
It was Piles that called him the old guy. I forgot.
Yeah.
He could be Colin Moore's dad, probably.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Go, Keith. Sorry. Eric
No,
Kinkley
that was good.
me.
Eric Kinkley distracted you. That's okay. No, so I think it's a tough one. I feel like if you're looking for, okay, why should a senior athlete do it this year when, okay, it doesn't bear any qualification, anything for the process to make a team. There's no cash prize, which to my knowledge, there's never been a cash prize for the U.S. Open. Unless
yeah, there was some. I mean, I got paid $3,000 for winning. That's
oh, really?
Money, but yeah, I believe that. So I believe USA Wrestling has payment structures if you win X tournament, and I think like internationally it's the same thing. Maybe it's like 3-2-1, 3,000 for first, 2,000 for second, 1,000 for third. I could be incorrect here by a little bit, but there's definitely something.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd never realized that. They should talk about that more. They should advertise that. Yeah. So, I think when we consider that, I think the biggest benefit, what is the meaning? It's like for so many people, it'll be your first competition back in an Olympic year, right? And just the value of getting matches. And I think that'll be the main thing for it. Why an athlete would want to compete, right? And I think it's good that guys want to get paid to wrestle. I think that's great, and I think it's good that they want there to be some meaning behind what they're wrestling in. But I think the real meaning is, hey, many of you haven't wrestled for 7-8 months. Get a couple matches in and see where you're at.
That's what I would say, Christian, is that they just need to get matches, because where else are these guys going to wrestle?
I mean, Bo Nickel is, for USA Wrestling, close to as good as it gets, right? He is top 1% echelon of wrestlers in America. This guy had rust, right?
Allegedly.
He allegedly. Oh, you don't think he was rusty?
I don't know. I have my own. I have my own beliefs about ring rust or mat rust. I don't really know that it totally exists. I think it's more of a state of mind, which Bo and I guess could have that debate.
Wouldn't a state of mind also? I mean, sure. Doesn't state of mind that all factors in, right?
It's incumbent on you to get yourself in the right state of mind in order to compete optimally.
Okay. Well, you could say and obviously for Ringer though, maybe as well. Maybe they're both rusty.
Yeah. Sure, that's fair. But I just think if the athlete can get himself mentally ready, then the rust is not, it isn't and should not be there.
I don't know. There's not a big track record for that Bo not getting himself ready. I think there's just something about this guy's been training. He's been training with the best in the best room, right? If anyone shouldn't be rusty, it should be him, and he was, right? In my opinion, Bo. I don't think Bo would think that was his best performance. I think he even said that.
So Christian, if they don't wrestle at the U.S. Open, though, where are they going to wrestle?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's only. I mean, if you have an event that's 8 contestants, I mean, how many senior level wrestlers are there in America? I mean,
there's not a guaranteed opportunity. That's for sure.
There's no guaranteed opportunities. So for me, I would say, if I even think the senior level guys on kind of just a regular basis that they compete a little too infrequently. I mean, maybe as they get older, they don't need to do it as frequently. But especially those younger guys right out of college. I mean, do they need to get 40 matches like a college season? No, I don't think so. But should they be getting, I don't know, between 20 and 30 matches, which is, eight tournaments, maybe 8 to 10 tournaments? Yeah, I would think that if it was feasible for them, that they should be doing that much wrestling.
Yeah, it would seem like a decent idea, but maybe on the other hand is, okay, how prepared are we to wrestle right now? The training situation. If you're in the Northeast, what are you able to do, right? How much have you been able to train? I
guess secret garages and stuff.
Secret garages, I guess.
That's what Yanni was training in, wasn't he? And that's like what the Rutgers facility.
It's not
secret garage.
But he's probably not training there full time. I bet he's training somewhere.
Where else is he training?
I don't know.
He's got mats in his garage in Rochester.
Secret
I've
layers.
seen him.
Big shout, Rochester, New York. That's where.
And then the one that you filmed, the New Jersey RTC guys, that looks like kind of like a secret garage.
That's the Van Ness Club. Rodney?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rodney Van Ness.
What's it called? What's the club called?
I don't know.
Secret Garage Training Club.
Secret Garage Shane Van Ness Training Club room.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll see. Guys, I do know. I got to hit him back, actually. Johnny Rajano hit me up and said, hey, Titan Mercury's going to be sending a squad. Don't worry.
Well, that's what I was going to say is you look at the men's freestyle entries and we talk about this all the time. People are notorious for entering late, and there are no men's freestyle Titan Mercury guys. And, obviously they're the biggest club. Right. It looks like their women are in. Like, there's a good number of Titan Mercury women in, but the men aren't. So, and I know Gilman said he plans on wrestling. I believe Yanni told us he plans on wrestling. We spoke to a number of colleges that plan on sending guys, but they're still not in. So,
and I think the other thing, some of the colleges are waiting for juniors and U23s, which I think we're going to get. You're going to get some more information about juniors U23s, I think, today from USA Wrestling. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Look for that.
Well, U23 Worlds was canceled, so I think it's probably unlikely they host that competition. But U20s, is that what you're thinking also or no?
Well, I think it would be like a nationals, right? Even if maybe it is just junior.
No, it's not.
Okay. Just junior.
Recky knows something. He just let on.
Yeah. Okay. U23. It'll be like a nationals.
Okay.
Maybe not a trials.
So we'll not qualify for Worlds, but
we've had U23s or called it universities when we weren't sending teams before, right?
Well, it didn't used to be a University Worlds every year.
Right.
It was like every other year or every 2 years or something.
But we would still have the
We'd still have it, yeah. And the brackets would be significantly down, but I don't know if they will be this year because you haven't wrestled since
they were not
March.
I remember when there was no Worlds. It was pretty salty still. I gotta try to remember. Like the year that Imar and Chance wrestled, was there a U23 Worlds that year? Or University Worlds? I don't think there was.
I don't know.
Do you remember Imar?
I remember them wrestling. I just don't remember if there was.
And do you remember Imar ever wrestling at Worlds, University Worlds?
I do not.
I do not. I know there were other matches, but
I don't think so.
Yeah. So perhaps. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully that's coming soon. and then you'll have
Should
more
be
clarity.
this morning.
Then I think the colleges will say, okay, some guys should go here, some should go here, some should go here, and then I think they'll register. Because if you're a university and you've got a guy, he's pretty good, but should he really be in senior nationals? Maybe not. We'd rather he went to juniors or U23s. But if there is no juniors or U23s, we'll put him in senior nationals. But until we know that, you know.
Why? At this point, why wouldn't you have your guys do everything? Because there's gonna be no competitive wrestling until January 1st, and so obviously, even those younger guys would usually be doing, I don't know, 20 matches at open tournaments in November, December. Why not just have them go get especially if you're relatively, Iowa, Northern Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, like these colleges that are 4 hours. Hop in the van, drive your ass up there, wrestle some matches. You get some reps in.
Yes, I agree with that. And also knowing not only are you not going to be able to wrestle till January, but anyone that's not a starter, how are they going to get a match? How are you going to get a match?
They're
not going to have opens.
That's an even better point.
So basically, it ain't folk style, but my gosh, it's
something.
It's wrestling, and it's high level wrestling. So I think a lot of teams would have to reach that conclusion, because if you're redshirting, you're literally just training.
You're not gonna get any match. You're right. There's gonna be no opens. You're not gonna get any matches at all.
Exactly. So that's gonna make it really tough. So I dare say it would be smart. I know I talked with the coach. He's like, we were planning on sending our entire team to something in a combination of seniors, juniors, U23s. He's like, everyone was going to go to one of those. So, as a Big Ten coach, I feel like that's going to be a pretty pervasive thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and someone's asking, when is the U.S. Open?
Yeah.
Bracky? It is
the 9th through the 11th?
Yeah, October 9th through 11th. So coming up soon. Dude, it's happening, Ben. It's happening. We're gonna have wrestling. We're gonna have consistent wrestling for a little bit.
Boom.
I'm very excited. We're getting closer on a couple more announcements for the 8-man.
We are.
Couple contracts have gone out. We may be bringing. I'm not gonna name drop here, but we may be bringing not one Gabe Dean, but two people out of retirement. And into the 8-man, and that's all.
It's not me.
It's not.
Is it my brother?
It is Max Askren. No, it is not Max.
Look, a bunch of.
Why would he not? Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
You should call a bunch of academy parents are harassing him. We have like a private members group, and they were all tagging him and saying he should do it. I don't think he's in good shape. I don't know.
He can only hit fireman's carries though.
Yeah, firemen's and headlocks. You still need to have him on FRL one time so we can grill him about firemen's carries.
Yeah, he should come on and defend himself. It's really funny because pretty much every clinician or high-level guy we had in September, they show it, and then obviously when they show it, at least one guy from Max's academy specifically said, it comes up, right? And then the clinician's like, wait, what? And and then the debate starts.
That's so funny. That's great.
Did Spencer Lee show it?
Yeah, Spencer's got a carry.
Come on, Spencer showed it. Yeah, of course. Yanni showed it. Spencer showed it.
I've never seen Yanni hit a carry.
He definitely showed it. 100%.
That's so funny. I need this national champion to explain to me why his wrestling philosophy. Okay. Hey, we've got. I don't want to make you guys wait for this. You're gonna like this.
Oh.
I want to show the first 2 minutes of Metcalf because it is so good.
Oh. Okay.
And it's gonna make you want to watch it.
This is his. You're Christian. You're showing the first 2 minutes. That's all you got, and then you're going to Mexico.
Yeah, it's a 2-minute film. This is all we came up with, but it's pretty good. I think you're gonna like it. Tyler, roll it whenever you're ready.
He could wrestle for days. He never got tired. It was almost like the huge gunshot wound, and all you have is like a little Band-Aid. You try to control the bleeding, but you can't stop the bleeding because he was coming for you. Many men won a wrestling match. Very few men won a war. He wanted a war.
And that man, Brent Metcalf, a 3-time All-American in the Out of the gate, he was awesome. He was awesome. He had a high-level mentality, and not a lot rattled him.
He was very crafty. He wrestles a hard pace, and he's going to be in your face, and he's got that tank.
Brent Metcalf has done it.
He was mean. He'd punish you in every way possible.
He built a brand in 2010. It was the Brent Metcalf brand.
He was almost a fairy tale. It was like a myth, you know? And then once he got on the mat, it was like his whole personality just came out. This hard, tough kid from Michigan.
You don't tear down shop and say, I gotta fix everything. You do what you've been doing, you just do it at a better level and a higher level.
And there was no one in the country who could stand up to what he had to bring to the table.
He was tough. We're talking world, Olympic, and national championship philosophy.
The mentality of win or nothing. I've beat the best guys in the world, but it's not all about winning. I went in there with the purpose to go and separate myself from everybody. It was like send a message to the world that Metcalf's here.
Boom. That's all you get. That's the film.
Nice.
Please watch it. I think you'll like it. Brent Metcalf. As mentioned, 3 episodes?
3.
3 episodes. Okay, episode 1's like 40 minutes long, allegedly. It's really, really good. Hope you like it.
Every Wednesday now? This week? Or next 2 weeks?
Yes. Yes. Wednesday. So be ready for that. Ben, did you have some you wanted to talk Metcalf memories?
Well, I just thought, obviously we're having this thing about him, and it's, again, that was kind of like my era. And that was kind of the era you said you started watching wrestling. So what was your favorite Metcalf memory? And obviously for me, it wasn't like I was a huge Metcalf fan. I was somewhere in the middle. There was things to love about him and there was things to hate about him. So I would definitely say for me, I was somewhere in the middle. It wasn't like I was all the way against him and it wasn't like I was all the way for him. I found myself to be somewhere in the middle.
What were the things that made you have extreme thoughts about about Brent, whether you liked him or disliked him?
Obviously, you just as a wrestling guy, you love the pace and you love the toughness and you love that part of it, right? But then then on the opposite side for me, there was my own code was like, I could try to beat him up as bad as I want within the confines of the rules and during the whistle. But once the whistle blows out of bounds, like, you're allowed to pretty much do anything you want. When they blow the whistle again, you don't need to do stuff after the whistle. And I always felt like there was this thing where he would, always do these things after the whistle. And then obviously the biggest culmination was, and this one actually wasn't after the whistle, but I think most people saw it as out of bounds, was the Caldwell one.
Yes.
Right, where he pushed him during the backflip.
Yes, that was a famous one for sure. Yeah, certainly. I feel like the mystique around Brent was prior to that. And then that happened. He shoves Caldwell after the whistle and everything. Then it spiraled into a different dimension, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know. As far as like Metcalf memories, I think the Mueller pin again in the Iowa State duel is definitely one I remember. That was just there was so much energy around that duel. There's so much anticipation. Iowa State was so good that year. It was the first KJ year, I believe. And they had Varner and Zabriskie and Gallick and other guys. They had a really good team. And Mitch Mueller was a really salty wrestler. And not that anyone thought he would win, but the pin was so big and how loud it was. And he let a belt out and all this and that. Joe Flo nailed that call big time. So that was a great memory, a very vivid memory. Maybe the biggest one for me was the Schlater-Metcalf Big Ten Finals. You want to talk about that had been building for years, right? Like that was building bigger than Caldwell rematch even. Oh yeah. Because at that time it was like, okay, Schlater had been a national champ. Metcalf had not been, but this was like the chance, and they had missed it. They either didn't duel or they missed in the duel. Something happened. Then they hit in the Big Ten Finals, and it was super close, right? And a lot of people thought, I thought after that, I was like, that's going to be the Ncaa Finals too. Like I thought that. Yeah. I was like, sure, there's going to be those two again, and it's going to be really close and really tight match. And then Caldwell upsets Schlater. Jenkins beats Caldwell. But anyways, in that match, in the Big Ten Finals, it was back and forth. I think Schlater hit a beautiful slide by on him for 2. I mean, Schlater was on that level. And this is the year Brent won the Hodge, right? And that was a really close match. And then at the end, he got his arm on the back of it. And he's like flexing on him, just like holding him down like as time expires. That was a super vivid memory. And that certainly did not, if you did not like Brent Metcalf, how he won that match would not have changed your mind, I don't think. That's a few.
I think the interesting thing about the Schlater and Metcalf rivalry, as we're looking back at it, is it didn't totally come to total fruition because Dustin wrestled as a true freshman, right? So they both graduated high school 2005, and then Dustin wrestled as a true freshman. Brent was there, and then obviously Brent the following year. I don't know. He was, what do you call it? Suspended. He wasn't able to wrestle, right? Because they didn't give him the transfer.
He had to sit out.
He had to sit out. And so you essentially missed those first 2 years of, if they both redshirt and they both wrestled in 2007, they're both starting as freshmen then. But so by the time Brent has eligibility in 2008, Dustin would have been a junior. He already had 2 years of NCAA experience. So I thought that was, and then obviously, he gets upset by Darren Caldwell, to your point. So that what would have been a really, really great rivalry kind of almost never came to fruition.
Yeah, then between injuries, their careers not lining up, and Schlater eventually went to 157, even spent some time at 65. He made the world team at 74. So, yeah, it was definitely a rivalry that didn't materialize. I mean, the NCAA final that he beat Bubba Jenkins was really interesting because he gave up like the first 2 takedowns, and then he almost got the major, basically only on takedowns, I think. Or he may have got a 2-2, held him on a takedown. But
it was 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing, and this is really funny because, and this, I don't know if this, we'll get into it. In MMA, Brian and I, we do an MMA podcast together, we talked about the top MMA personalities. And one of the things I didn't really think about going into it was the interplay between other people. And so what we noticed was that, within that top 10, almost everybody there was some connection, fought each other or, multiple fought each other. And so then when you think about like NCAA wrestling personalities, like when you look at this 2008 bracket, which is obviously a relatively famous bracket, but not just on how good they were, but the personalities that would come out of this bracket, and it did Metcalf make some of these guys shine a little bit more? And I think the answer is yes. You have Brent Metcalf, huge personality, Lance Palmer, Jordan Burroughs, Darren Caldwell, Bubba Jenkins, Dustin Schlater. Like that's huge. That is, for wrestling personalities, that's like a huge bracket.
Yes. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's the best bracket ever for a variety of reasons, right? And not only what those guys became, but just having Metcalf be the top guy at that made it extra meaningful, and what those guys went on to become. And some huge person. I mean, Jordan Burroughs, the biggest personality in the sport, in the world right now, since basically 2012, probably. That's been true
for quite a while here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So totally. What are some of your fondest memories, Ben or Kyle?
Go ahead, Ben.
How old were you when?
So
I was in
college. I was in high school when he was in college, and
that's perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved Brent Metcalf. I thought he was the best. I loved the extra stuff after the whistle and people getting pissed off at him.
Come on, Kyle.
No, it was great. It was great.
Save it for the whistle.
That's what made him him, And I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and it's a kind of a funny story. But so my junior year was the year he lost to Caldwell in the NCAA finals, and I was at NCAA's that year, and I just lost in the state finals 3 weeks before that. And before the finals, the head coach at Parkersburg High School, shout out Coach Way, he always listens, but he was talking to me. He's like, you need to watch Brent Metcalf film every night before you go to bed. Just every night, pop in a match, just watch Brent Metcalf, just wrestle like him, be relentless, da-da-da-da. And so then he goes out and just gets, messed up by Metcalf.
Caldwell.
Caldwell, sorry. And we were sitting in different parts of the arena, so I texted him. I was like, should I watch Darian Caldwell now every night before bed? But no, I loved Brent, and it was really awesome growing up as a high school kid and like going to NCAAs and watching him and stuff.
Yeah, that's that's so funny that you liked the after the whistle stuff, and I was always highly annoyed by it. Yeah, so man, I guess the biggest thing for me was I was so shocked, and I think there was this expectation that he was going to make both the 2012 and 2016 Olympic teams, and obviously he was a mainstay the senior level for such a long period of time. And like I said, I wasn't like a huge Brent Metcalf fan. I was somewhere in the middle, but I will say when he didn't make the team in 16, I don't know. I felt like just as a wrestling fan, disappointed that he didn't make it, because even though I wasn't his biggest backer, after all that time, you want to see someone get what they trained for. Or I don't want to say get what you earn, right? That's not the right statement, but it was just like I felt like there was something that was kind of left unfulfilled when he didn't make the team at 16. And I was obviously, I'm sure, didn't feel the same emotions he felt, but I was very disappointed for him.
Yeah, for sure. That was, one of a true picture of how this sport really is. But your ending is not, you don't get to pick it, right? In general,
yes,
it gets chosen for you. And you go out. He went out with a loss to Molinaro, and then he lost on the backside, I think, to Ness, right? I mean, that is like unheard of, and it's just like the worst way you can think for a career to end. And it just kind of shows how brutal the sport is, and I agree. And when you consider how close he was in 15 to medaling, and that he almost beat the Iranian.
Was it Tagavi?
No, that was in 13. He almost he was right there, but he did lose to Tagavi. He broke Tagavi in defeat, and then Tagavi had nothing left in the next match, and then that was a thing. But no, in 15, what was the Mohammadi? I forget his name. Daggone it, my memory. But he's a good Iranian. I don't know if he ever won Worlds, but he was super, super good. And he almost had him. It was debatable with he had 2 on an exposure, but he didn't. Rocky's looking it up, but that's.
You said it was 15?
It was 2015 Vegas Worlds. I remember it. He almost beat him, and then to go from there to you lose to Molinaro, you lose on the backside, and then he never wrestles again. Holy cow! Someone actually asked in the FRL questions, I think, is where I saw it, if Metcalf would enter one of these one of our brackets, our 20K brackets,
awesome.
150. That would be awesome. I don't know if he would or wouldn't, but 20K maybe. Maybe
you can get down to 155. You throw in that 155 bracket. That makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah, maybe 150. I think we like 150, but we'll see.
Okay.
Bracky's
that'd be harder for him. Well, I guess he wrestled 143, but I think he's put on some size since then.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big guy. Oh my gosh, Bracky's.
Man, get this Iranian's name. Let's go.
Well, it's quite long. It's Mohammadi. It's Mohammadi.
Mohammadi Panay.
Yeah, there's a lot of letters, a lot more letters than I remember. But yeah. So those are a few of the best memories. It was wild. I mean, he was such a polarizing figure in college wrestling.
Yeah.
And he was just regarded as whether one thing that was basically agreed upon was no one was like, yeah, but he's not that good. Everyone was like, I can't stand that guy, but he's amazing. I can't believe how hard he can wrestle.
Yep.
And the fact that, I don't know, you don't really see a lot of guys who you just know they're going to wilt their guys by the third period. But Brent was one of those guys that could do that, right? It's like, that's not really a weapon that's not sustainable, right? It's like, okay, this guy might break, but it just so happens that he got really tired. It just doesn't happen that way very much. But Brent was one of those guys, and he did it. He was good on top. He had a good figure 4 Turk thing. He would turn guys, but he was basically just a neutral dynamo, and he was one of a kind. That's for sure. Okay, I want to get to a few questions. We only have 5 minutes before we go. I thought this question was super interesting, Ben.
What's it?
In the event Nickel and Taylor lace them up, which coach is in their corners? How do you do this?
Oh, yeah. We saw that. That was someone posted yesterday. What do they do, Christian? Do they say hands off or what?
I don't know. You have to have someone.
Someone
in the
has
corner.
to be there.
You gotta have someone in the corner. You gotta have someone throwing the brick. You gotta have someone that can talk to you between periods. I feel. I mean, Kale has to be in David's corner. There's just no way. And is it Casey and Bose, or is it Cody, or someone? But there's.
Why can't they just say go fight it out? I've done that with my guys before. I don't see why you couldn't do that. If you're the coaches, be like, listen, guys, we've done this far. We don't want to show any favoritism. Go fight it out.
I mean, sure. Okay, all right. There's a crazy scramble. Someone's got to throw the brick, right?
Throw your own brick.
You can't.
You can't. Pat Downey found that out at the U.S. Open.
Spencer Mango had to throw a brick for him
in 2017. Yeah.
You could have a child in your corner, and you could give him a signal.
Okay, kid, throw the brick. Yeah, I don't know. They're not gonna empty chair it. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know how you pick that one. I don't know if you rotate. You know, if it's the finals and you say, okay, you got these guys for match 1, and then we're gonna flop for match 2, or I don't know. It's gonna get awkward because I mean, for me, it's like if I watch my guys wrestle after the match, I might go tell them, hey man, you made this mistake. If you want to beat him next time, this is something you need to improve on, and I might go do it to both of them, right? But at the point where we're in Olympic trials finals and it's best 2 out of 3, and literally there's another hour before you wrestle, is the Penn State coaches and whoever they are they really going to feel that comfortable going to Bo Nickel and saying, hey, here's where he beat you, here's where you need to make the changes to beat David for the next match? And likewise, our David, the coach. Yeah, that I would feel very uncomfortable as a coach doing that at that point in time. Not saying, again, like a freestyle state tournament, it's less meaningful. And we're talking about the Olympic team, something that might change one of their lives. Are they really going to feel comfortable doing that? Or would it be better to say, guys, man, I love you both. And at this point, we got to be hands off. Because I feel like that's probably I don't want to say it's probably the safer route, right? That's something that you should just feel like, go get them.
Yeah, I don't know how you. I think the more hands off you are, the less likely you are to have feelings hurt or create a fracture there, right? So
because it's so tough. It's so tough. I mean, we've seen this happen twice now with Iowa where it hasn't worked out, right? So first it was the Dennis Ramos, and then Gilman Dennis, and now Gilman Lee. We've kind of seen this play out, and it hasn't really played out all that positively in any of those circumstances.
No, it is. It's really, really tough. I don't know how you handle it. I think you got to be in their corner, but one thing, I think communication solves it all. It's like, obviously, let's address this. I mean, it's something that's like, okay, Bo's going A6, David, you're going A6. Hey, let's get in a room. Here's how let's figure out how do we handle this as coaches. Like, how do you want to see this done? And you communicate proactively, like, hey, it's going to go like this. We're going to do it like this. We're going to still try to get you as good as we can up to this point. But ultimately, best case scenario, you guys are wrestling each other at the Olympic trials. So we got to prepare for that. And here's how we think we should do it. And if you come to those conclusions cooperatively with them, they're adults. They get it, right? And this is not going to be the first time this happens at Nittany Lion, right? There are going to be different scenarios where they're going to have the 2 best guys.
I agree.
So I doubt they're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. I'm sure they've thought about it.
Yeah,
they've communicated about it too.
I would say be proactive helps, but still in that moment, if you're giving someone advice to beat someone else, man, that gets really challenging.
Well, that's what you discuss, right? It's like, hey, between matches, we're probably not going to be giving you the, hey, set your right hand, do this.
Yeah,
do
exactly.
Yeah, because at that point.
That's what I would say. I would just say, guys, we're out. We love you both. We're out. We're not. I'm not getting involved in this. This is your situation to figure out with each other. We'll sit in your corner. We'll give you water. We'll towel you off. I'll throw you the brick, and I ain't telling you nothing else.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Okay, on that note, it's go time, 9 o'clock. Go watch Metcalf. Bracky may or may not have put it in the Facebook chat for you guys.
I did.
It's up on the site. You can watch it now. Happy Metcalf Wednesday. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow for sure. Talk Metcalf, talk other things. Maybe we'll have a couple more announcements for the 8-man. Lots of things to be excited about if you're a wrestling fan. It's coming back. Should have a U23 Juniors announcement soon. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow. Happy Wednesday.